And as always, it looks like the stream is trying to connect. And we're getting an excellent signal here in the den with Captain Den. I don't see a picture yet on the stream, but that's okay. It's just everything's starting to sync up as usual. And hopefully in a few seconds, I will get a full screen like I do right now. And seeing that we're broadcasting live, and though we're broadcasting slightly late due to work circumstantial boggles and problems and stuff like that. We've been out for a few weeks as everybody's been on vacation, having a good time enjoying the holidays with families and friends. And now we're back for continuing our archive saga because we have absolutely zero people watching us live. Who knows? Maybe when we have more free time, we may be able to build this into something real and make $1 million like all those other crazy people out there who like to do ball shaver ads and stuff like that on their streams. We may do that. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know if any of you guys need your balls shaved when you get some advertisements to make some money. I don't know. Probably not. Anyways.
We'll check.
Well, I do, I mean, like every good man, you should keep yourself well groomed. I mean, there you go. It's how the females in our lives appreciate it. They don't want like some stinky rat trap down there, right?
Manscaping.
Them. Well, you said it. They're not even authorized yet as a sponsor, but yet we're also promoting their product. There you go. Anyways, let me move on. We're going to start off with Eberron, who's going to be running us in our continuous adventures in the shadows of Eberron. And so we're looking like we're doing good, and I will pass this off to him.
Okay, well, welcome back after the holidays. The Blazing Phoenixes have been on a walkabout, actually. Gone from Sharn, the City of Towers, chasing down another relic for Lady Eladrin of House Karnath. Shit, been a while. And they've made it down to a place called the Red Stone Quarry to find clues to a map to where this possible relic is inside the Mournland. The quarry was befouled with Emerald Claw agents who tried to defend their site, and the Blazing Phoenixes basically kicked their ass.
The claw.
The claw, right? What we're going to do now, it's been a while since we've introed the characters, and since we're coming back live again, we're going to do an intro for each of the characters, and we're going to start off with Evo Shandor as I get us on over there. Evo, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, my name is Evo Shandor, and for most of my adult life, I lived in the shadows of my great parents. They founded the Blazing Phoenix Company that would adventure all over the world of Eberron, highly sought after by every kingship and lord and people of this world to get a job done. What they were renowned for is their tenacity and also with their conviction in doing what's right. They wouldn't just take
thriftiness.
And their thriftiness. And they wouldn't just take any job to pay the bills, but they had to take jobs that, would not endanger the people or that would basically cause disruption in the land. Rescue missions, slaying of foul beasts that were rampaging all over, and they were considered the greatest. Evo, though, grew up in a world of luxury. His family owned a magnificent skyship of whenever the Blazing Phoenixes went on one of their escapades, They would take a selection of 30 to 50 different adventurers were all part of the Phoenix. They would pick the right specialists for the job, and they would accomplish the task. But his parents, being overly protective of their son, most of the time he would stay back in the protection of their skyship while they went and did all these great missions. And as he lived his life well into his early 30s, he was still in that protected state, never able to prove himself, never able to become great like his parents. And so he always lived in their shadow. And though he resented it quite a bit, at this stage in his life, he decided to accept it and just kind of enjoyed just being a nobody with a lot of money. But all that changed the day of the morning. The Blazing Phoenixes were on a very top secret mission to this region of the land, and Evo was relaxing back on the skyship. Now, though he didn't have any direct talents, he wasn't particularly great at magic. He wasn't, a massively skilled fighter. He liked to read books and play songs and have a good life. But he always kept hearing these voices in his head that always drove him to do better. And he just kind of blew it off as his imagination. And on that fateful day, something told him to wake up. And so he stood upon his skyship, and he saw this massive cloud of dark magical matter with screaming faces approaching it. As the skyship, of course, was landed and docked, he jumped off to try to move towards it, knowing that his parents was in that direction and not knowing what it is. And something in his head was saying, you need to leave. But he was frozen in his place, terrified what could have happened to his parents and the people that he loved and cared for. All these different adventurers that taught him little pieces of skills, his family, until a form came running faster than anything could imagine out of this approaching darkness and picked him up and grabbed him and just ran and ran and ran, which was his Warforged friend and companion,
Killian.
Thank you, Killian. And him being held back, he seemed like the Warforged ran for hours and days as the cloud just kept getting closer and closer. Eventually, the Warforged stopped as the cloud hit its maximum, distance and no longer was approaching them. Unfortunately, Killian's memory, somehow from the mystical nature of the morning, was erased and did not know who he was or what he's done. Though Evo tried to explain his exploits and who he was with the Phoenixes, it registered nothing absolutely on Killian because his memory was completely wiped. But Killian, always being a kind soul and dedicated, saw that the next path was to follow along, I assume, to help on whatever mission that Evo was set upon. Taking some time to mourn the loss of his family and not sure what he would do. Killian produced documents of all the Phoenixes that were on the mission, which was standard operating procedure that their last will and testament would be placed upon in the care of one of the Warforges in case anything was to happen to the company or anybody involved, knowing that the Warforges were almost nigh invincible and could survive just about anything. The voices in Evo's head told him that this was his job, was to ordain to bring peace to those families that have lost, their family members in such a tragedy. And so Evo and Killian wandered off into Eberron to find those families and give them comfort of the people that were lost. During this time, these voices continued to guide Evo, and he no longer believed that they were just his imagination, but they were putting upon a path, and they emblazoned him with some type of power that seems to be of light and right, which put him upon the path of being a paladin of the light, as he not quite discernible what host or what gods are invested this power of that nature to him still is a mystery to him. And so their adventures went forward as they found some members of families that were of the Phoenixes and were able to deliver these messages. And Evo took it upon himself that it's his mission to find out what happened to his family, what caused the mournlands, and to bring them back and to bring balance back to the world at any cost. And whether Kellyan returns, gets his memories, and decides to move on his own path, or continue to follow Evo upon his almost suicidal mission, is yet to be seen. But to this date in the game, he was able to bring together a bunch of hardy adventurers in the spirit of the Blazing Phoenixes and start upon the quest that he personally has taken upon that path. And with these compassionate people, they were able to help put Evo on the path of redemption and helping those in need, instead of the path of anger and the path of retribution, which for almost a year or two he was teetering on. It could have gone either way. And now with his new companions, he found that he will take up the mantle of what the Phoenixes stood for before, and that is helping others at all costs. And that's where we are with Evo Shandor. And that's it.
You're here.
Excellent.
Sorry, long-winded as usual.
No worries.
You go first.
Yeah, set the tone. Oh, very nice. Next, we're going to introduce Ironsides.
Well, Ironsides came into being like all other Warforged before him. He just kind of blinked into existence and came forth from one of the great forges. His design and intent originally was to be kind of a test bed for the Lazar principalities among the Blood Sails. He served as a marine unit for their, what you would call a navy. And basically his main focus was to establish a beachhead for his brother in arms. From there, he kind of went out on his own, searching for purpose. He felt this kind of pull, this desire to find who is watching out for the Warforged, who among the gods is taking the plight of the Warforged seriously in their search for purpose and where they fit into the world after the last war. In this kind of exploration of these thoughts, he came upon Rollins and decided to become a bodyguard and enjoy the travels that kind of went with him. And now he finds himself in the company of the Blazing Phoenixes. And so far during his tenure with such a exalted brigade of brigands, his spirit's beginning to awaken, and he's starting to grasp at the threads before him and to see what the Warforged will become. And he finds himself in this journey and this drive and motivation. He feels like he's just on that edge of what is our purpose? How shall we serve? Where do we fit? And that is just driving him. And he finds himself now with this great group.
All right. Along with the Warforged already mentioned is Killian, who will now roll with his intro.
Killian, as mentioned, does not remember his life before morning, but he does feel compelled from something inside of him that he must protect Evo, and he feels that he must help people where he can. In addition to that, he is quite sure he is the most handsome, bravest, best musician who's also Warforged in the party. And he feels that he is searching for something out there that he doesn't know what it is, but it will reveal the truth about his nature, and that's what he is wandering the earth for.
You're gonna be mad when you realize this Evo implanted a virus inside of him that gave him those urges.
Maybe.
Hey, quiet you.
That's part of the truth. That's part of the truth he's looking for.
Better check your slot.
Glued in that little memory card.
Yep.
Okay, and with that, we will move on to Mordrin.
Mordrin Elisandra. His parents traveled to Aranel on a pilgrimage shortly after the outbreak of the last war, and left him there in the care of the Church of the Undying Court. He was raised as an acolyte in the church, was never able to find any information on his parents other than their names, could find no information on them. He was shy and bookish and, a bit depressed at being an orphan and abandoned by his parents. He was assigned to the libraries and was working with the scribes, and as in his adolescence, he began manifesting certain abilities. One of the scribes in the library, a brother Doran, recognized that he had a dragon mark of House Fjarlin, and kind of took him under his wing as he was somehow associated with the house as well. Trained him. He was raised in the church. An opportunity arose to travel to the mainland to do an investigation into the origin of the mourning. Brother Doran advised him that it would be wise for him to take the opportunity and travel, so he traveled to the mainland, thinking not only could he find information on his parents, but could also look into the origin of the mourning, and that was when he happened to come in contact with Evo and the germ of what was to become the new Blazing Phoenixes. And as he has developed in his skills, he's also come out of his shell somewhat and is enjoying life and exploring the mainland and getting used to cultures that he's not used to. But that is where we find him at this point.
Alrighty.
You don't want to say anything about his soul-sucking companion?
Oh, he's not a soul-sucking companion.
I mean, the picture of your
has-
character says otherwise, by the way.
It's not soul-sucking. He's a very good boy. In an encounter, he happened upon a creature that it is a sword mite who he has bonded with somewhat, and the sword mite has become sort of a pet and friend to him. So, yes, some people are put off by his looks, but when you worship corpses, you kind of have a sliding scale of aesthetics.
That's what they said about Stormbreaker, which was Elric's sword, which also sucked the souls out of people.
Just a lot cooler.
Stormbringer was just misunderstood. Was a tool.
Osric is a good boy. He just wants to take a bite out of things.
Osric is a very good boy.
Moving on, we have Roland, mentioned by Ironsides as a found companion.
Yeah, well, here's the beat on Roland Iranold. The only halfling and traveling bard Phoenixes, and in certain hard times, sellsword. Roland was raised in a family of troupe of poets and musicians. He likes to fancy himself to be a troubadour just like the rest of his kin, but traveling and performing in towns and great cities around Eberron, he unfortunately had a series of crowd-yawning performances that he headlined, and later he was ostracized and embarrassed. He kind of ran off, left to wander the towns of Eberron, in the hopes that one day he would prove himself and his talent and to be able to return to his family business and hopefully triumphant. One day, by chance, he was in an inn, and he had fallen into the company of some adventurers who, like him, seemed kind of lost, but they seemed to be a good sort of folk. And later, he did a performance with them, and it was an amazing. And later on, he found out that his other bard that he was playing and performing with was Ivo Standor, who invited him to help reform his family adventuring party, the Blazing Phoenixes. And after a little prodding, Roland said yes. And he became an integral part of his undercover musical troupe, hopefully to fame and fortune, which is a stark contrast to the leering performances of his not-so-distant past. Being in the Phoenixes has invigorated Roland. With each swing of his sword and hit on his drum, the meaning of life has returned to his blood. And as much as he would love to return to his family, the success of the Blazing Phoenix and its members has become paramount for Roland's own pride.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Here,
And
here.
I don't see a picture of Roland. Does anybody else see it?
I see it.
I don't see it.
It's really
Let's
tiny.
see Let's see the phoenixes.
do you see the phoenix symbol?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, my bad.
Behind
No, I see it clearly.
I'll configure that real quick. I
You
forgot
probably
to
have
put
to
Show it up
Oh,
on the
perfect.
stream.
There it is.
Oh, there it is now.
Oh, there it
Just
is.
showed up.
Yeah, it was on the stream the whole time. Don't worry. We saw your pretty face and your
Yeah.
nice scar on your nose you got there.
Yeah. It's from a lot of running and falling.
It was from a bottle thrown from a displeased audience member.
That was before the Phoenixes, by the way.
Free
He's
Phoenix.
got nothing but rave reviews.
And with that, we come to Shiny.
Okay, I'm Shiny Eberly. After spending over 200 years of life, I've had great experiences and some rather poor ones throughout this time. Fought in several wars, and I've been able to put my warlock skills to good use fighting. Unfortunately, that has resulted in the death of pretty much all my family. At that point, I was really questioning the meaning of my life and what I should do, and I threw myself into some academic studies and surrounded myself by some of the greatest minds as I searched for meaning in life and trying to advance my skills. And at that point, when I really didn't feel like I fit in anywhere, I came across the Blazing Phoenixes and was lucky enough to be able to join this brave cohort where I've been exposed to some of the greatest musical performances my entire lifetime. I had no idea how I'd fit in because I have no musical talent, so I've put my dancing skills to the test to try to aid in the creating the legend of the Phoenixes, and at the same time went on some incredible adventures together and hoping that we have many more adventures. In my studies, I became involved with the Pact of the Chain, and I have my pseudo dragon Inri. But in bonding with Inri, I've realized this is probably not the path I should take. So I'm currently engaging in other studies to develop my warlock skills in a new domain. But at the same time, I have dedicated myself to helping the Phoenixes in any way possible.
And it looks like from that picture that Osric has already sucked your soul out.
He jumped on my right eye, but thankfully I saw what he was trying to do, and I only got a scar from him.
You do have a little bit of a
That was
vacant
not
look in your
Osric.
face, though. You kind of look like, what? Oh, Osric, damn it.
That looks distinctly like a wound sustained in an autoerotic asphyxiation incident.
No, that'd be on the neck, not on the eye. Come on now.
I was thinking that's his O face, man.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you lived as long as an elf, I mean, nothing really kind of gets you going, I guess.
Yeah.
You've had enough time to do everybody, so. With that, most of the party was involved in helping out Cole, another Warforged, who had lost her arm in the last war, and like many other Warforged, was having a hard time fitting into a non-war society, having the last war had ended 2 years ago. During that time, the party had uncovered a series of artificer manuals, and she's been able to learn from them enough to make a prosthetic arm. And she is dedicating herself to learning as much as she can so she can be the one to help all her Warforged brethren. Ironsides has taken a protective and guiding presence with her, and they have traveled with the Blazing Phoenixes, bringing us to the point where we're at now, investigating an old foundry of House Kenneth, and the party has taken a little break around the Emerald Claw's former camp. Having let a prisoner go as a warning to the rest, the party sits recouping and licking their wounds. And it brings us back to where we're at now. A little bit of music that the bards are providing with songs of rest.
We need those.
Right. What do you guys do?
I guess we already had one.
It might be the case. It's been a month.
Did we mar the map in the church as we left, or in the office as we left?
Ah, yes. When
Trying to
instead
remember.
of marring the map, what you'd done was covered up the codes on the back of
Right.
these statues with a little mending to what do you call it? Throw off anybody looking for what you're looking for.
Right. Okay. So we have our maps. My clumsily drawn map.
And a rather professional one done by Ironsides, who is a cartographer.
Yes.
Yours like a rough draft.
I will spend my time trying to make a fair copy of his, so we are not putting our eggs in one proverbial basket.
Excellent. You guys have a full camp here of the Emerald Claw, some wagons, your guide and transportation, Phelan, a former House Kenneth member, and other things that you had found, I believe, were a strange potion with a code word on it of, like, I can't remember what it was. It was like Compound 12, I think.
So I have a list. We found the Chalice of Elandria, Sovereign Host, Saint of Luck, Music and Gamblers. We have 20 black onyx gems, each worth 25 gold, 200 platinum, 500 gold, potion, compound 12, 1 dose. And then, what you said about us putting mending on the back of the statues that were keys to unlock our next location has been erased using the mending cantrip.
Excellent.
Yes.
Rubbed a little dirt in
And
it.
we estimated we have about an 8-hour window before the escaped Emerald Claw members would conceivably be able to make it back. Is that
with reinforcements. That's what you guys were guesstimating.
Yes. So, do we want to release their animals, take their animals with us to maybe...
Well,
Have we done a thorough search of the camp? I think we've searched it fairly thoroughly, yes?
It is a fully outfitted camp, which can be broken down and the wagons used with the horses if you want to bring it along and keep it out of their clutches, or you could leave it, you could burn it. It's entirely up to you guys.
well,
But it is a neat camp. The Emerald Claw's morals might be one thing, but it is set up in a very military fashion. It's not a sloppy camp.
Well, Fallon, you know the Mournland best. If we let these animals go, will they survive the Mournlands, or what do you think?
Oh, these horses wouldn't go towards the Mournlands willingly.
Well, we're in
Then
the
we're-
Mournlands,
we're-
right?
Negative. We are outside.
We're on the edge of it.
You can see it from here, much like you could see it on your trip up the river.
Okay. Well, it's better to leave anything that we can't take on our own here and minimize the amount of tracks that it is for them to follow us and obfuscate the direction we go in than try to take too much of this stuff with us, and better not to leave these animals to their doom in this kind of dangerous glass area, unless you guys want to ride out of here back to standard land and then let them go there. I think that's not a bad idea, but that takes us a little bit.
Phelan is intimating that the animals instinctively know not to go into the Mournlands, correct?
Right, but this area in particular is still very dangerous because the glass zombies around, right?
Have you guys shown the maps to Phelan so he knows where you're going yet?
Not yet, I don't think.
No, not explicitly, no.
Okay. But he knows you're going into the Mournland.
Well, that was part of the deal, yeah.
Yeah, so to put it back. So what will happen is when we leave here, whether we bring this camp with us or not, I'm headed straight for the road, and the road will lead us into the Mournland. So tracks will be hard to follow on a road, but still can happen. There are some good trekkers out there.
No, at least if we take the horses into the road and have them go away from the Mournlands, that may lead them in another direction.
He shrugs.
Turn them loose on the road. I'm sure some traveler on foot would be very appreciative.
Yeah, I agree.
Might lead them away and distract some of the Emerald Claw, give them a
Or
false
feed
trail.
some starving people.
Yeah.
Or
All right. Well, that's a good plan then. We could... What time of day is it now? Did we sleep yet? I think we did, didn't we?
I think he did. I think you
we
guys
did take a rest.
take a long
I
rest.
We did take a long rest.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking back.
Ironsides
to-
is definitely for whatever gets us off this horrible floor surface so he doesn't keep falling on his ass.
Was kind of a struggle, wasn't it?
Very much so.
Okay, well then, I'm assuming even 8 hours would be hard for them because they were probably very wounded and had to rest. As
Chances
well.
are pretty good. Yeah.
That we probably had a little bit more than 8 hours. So, and we did the searching before we did the long rest, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then, while we were doing our long rest, whoever was on watch would be also spending time breaking down their camp that we weren't utilizing and packing it up. And then when everybody's gotten their full rest in, we'll have the whole camp packed up and we will take it down to the road. And anything that we don't want, which is probably 99% of it, we'll just leave it on the road for somebody to find.
There
Okay.
Anything
Do we want the claws to
Phelan
get their
would like
supplies
or
back? If
recommends
there's
us
some
bring
coming
it?
back?
Sorry, you both were talking at the same time.
Good.
Oh, I was Phelan, is there anything in the camp you recommend we keep and bring with us? Or
If
anything you
you're
want?
missing any supplies, it looks like you could take your pick. I will wander around and pick things up that I could use.
Okay.
I did not wish to take without permission, but if you're offering, I can supply up.
Yeah, take as much as you want.
And just for the record, did any of us show him the map that we were creating?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He just knows you're going into the Mornland, so his initial thoughts are to hit the road and go straight in that way until such a point as you're gonna.
Well, shall we
Confide in
show him then? Since
I'm gonna share.
that might
Well,
affect
I
any
would say-
recommendations.
Once we get off this hilltop and we get on the road and we start moving toward the Mornlands, we know that there's nobody around. There's no crows or ravens that can see what we're doing, or scrying because we're in a completely different direction and we're separated from most of the goods that were in this camp. That some evil warlock, as I look over at some people, or particular maybe clerics or wizards that can scry upon what we're doing, separate from anything that's personal to them as much as possible, and then we can look at the map when we get closer to the Moorlands, because we're going to have to take the road into it anyways.
Okay. Sounds
Oh.
like a plan.
Along
Yeah.
with that, go ahead.
For any of the supplies, I worry about any returning claws coming back and reclaiming them, anything we're not using, so.
Yeah, but, I mean,
There's plenty of horses that you can hook up to the wagons that will be able to pull everything out that you want
Yeah.
to pull out.
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah, no, we're pulling everything
Yeah, well, that's
out.
the plan. Is we're going to load everything up, and then when we hit the road, we'll point it away from the Moorlands, and or if
Give-
we see somebody walking along, we're like, "Congratulations, you won a caravan."
Right. I don't think we've actually gotten that far
Only
yet. but-
1,000 gold.
So we'll make our way down to the road with all the gear.
Before you leave,
Uh-oh.
were you going to do any investigation into the magical items that you have acquired?
Well, we only acquired the potion and the chalice, right? Is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't believe so, but I know there's a couple of you that have identify.
Yeah, I do. And I said I would identify, so. But I'll do that when everybody is. That's just a ritual. So I'll do that. I'll do that when everybody's awake and around.
Okay, which is basically call this breakfast, and everybody's done that.
Yeah. So, we do the potion first.
Okay, and you do have the required material, correct?
I do, which is a pearl.
Yes.
We fought over that. That was settled in game 2.
Oh no, we didn't fight over it. You enlightened me. I was like, oh, holy crap! I used to buy all of these things one at a time. Oh, such a save. For those of you guys that don't know, it requires 100 gold piece pearl. I was under the impression it was used up every time.
Oh, heavens.
It's not.
Yeah, that would be tragic. And being a wizard would suck so bad, or being a user, like, with any of that stuff.
I've spent many,
We would
many
have
gold.
a lot of mystery items.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you are checking out the potion. Let me find it, wherever that went. Okay, as you get into the ritual, yours being an arcane kind of identifying, you go through the spell and the ritual and make the symbols. It's actually not a potion. It is a salve of slipperiness.
No more slippering. No.
Yeah, we slept good enough on our own.
Well, I
So,
guess we
not
need to
something
give
you would
that
drink.
to the shiny for his autoerotic behavior.
I'm gonna cover myself in that next time Osric comes over, and tries to mate with me.
Oh, God.
At times
Wow.
when you're on watch, Osric would shift out of his sword form and be in his might form and resting on Mordrin while he slept and look at you
Aw.
specifically. He'd be
Hungrily.
eyeing you.
Is he winking at me?
No, he's staring. And then when Inri would be out, Inri would fly around, and one of his eyes would follow Inri while he kept an eye on you.
I'm very creeped out.
It is very creepy.
I sleep with one eye open the rest of the adventure.
You don't need to.
But-
you got your, you're familiar.
Yeah, I know, but I still want to keep an eye open, man. That's too creepy just to leave it to chance.
He's a good boy.
And Osric would purr.
He's a special little guy.
All right. What else do you check out?
We'll do the chalice next.
Okay, repeating the same process, new symbols. It's different for different items, the symbols that you use in the ritual, and but it's the basic spell. This is a golden chalice, and you get a very pleasant feel from it. Unlike the more alchemical properties you were getting from the salve, this emanates a party flavor, luck. You're getting good vibes from it. It has a couple of functions. It's a cup, so it's got more than one. Any liquid placed within it will be purified.
Ooh.
As per the spell, purify food and drink.
What if we
Any-
put Osric in it? I know he's not a liquid, but will it purify him at all?
He'll climb up into the cup just like a cat, just
Yeah.
in a box. Twice per day, it can also be used to change 1 pint of normal water into holy water as by a blessed water spell or the ceremony spell.
Okay, so no matter what you put in it, it'll purify food and drink, but then 2 times a day it can create holy water.
Yes, there is an addendum to this. These powers can be invoked by a cleric of the Sovereign Host for free. They do not have to attune. It can be attuned by a cleric of a good faith as one of their attunement slots. So, if, say, Mordrin were to want to use it, he would have to attune to it to do so. But if, you guys met a Sovereign Host cleric back in Starlasker with the rats, he could do it without having to attune.
What about a paladin?
Of the Sovereign Host would have to attune.
Okay,
Because it's-
only clerics can, right.
Do it. A cleric of the Sovereign Host for free. A paladin of a good faith or a cleric of a good faith have to attune to it to be able to use it.
What about a paladin of the sovereign host?
That would be an attunement because it's
a cleric
limiting
item.
factors. It's a cleric item, but a paladin is pretty close. I might even say if you weren't a paladin as well, a warlock with the divine
Right.
patron would count like a paladin if it was to a good.
What happens if you're a
Fate.
paladin and a warlock? I have no idea. Well, okay, well this is cool. I don't think this is directly for anybody, as I explained. It seems to be a relic for the sovereign host. So
Have a slot.
I don't know if you are considered on the side of light, my friend, but
He said
You-
good. I mean, what can be more good than somebody who loves people so much they don't want them to die?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll make a religious roll. How does that sound?
There
If
you
I-
go.
If I consider that his religion would be considered a good religion or not. Oh crap! I didn't sync my crap. Sorry. Need to sync my stink. Sync my stink. What was that roll, by the way? I don't know. Ask. Yeah, that was. That's what it is.
Oftentimes, religion is personal. It's determined on whether it's good or evil. You're not sure how the Undying Court is viewed, other than as it's one of those strange elven faiths from their island. Not a lot of high elves, i.e. Aeronal elves, come to the mainland. You see more wood elves, i.e. from Shiny's neck of the woods, which is Valinor, which is on the other side of the moorland. They're more common.
Maybe if he's not considered good, if he drinks from it, maybe his nose will fall off. I don't know.
Well, I would know if I attuned to it, wouldn't I?
You would know, yes.
Unless he drinks from it, and that's part of the atonement, and then his nose falls off. I don't know.
All the risks to take.
All the risks to take. Well, everybody does know what it does, and when we feel the need, we can dole it out. But
it takes time to attune.
Yeah, short rest normally, right?
Yeah, short rest, or you've just finished a long rest, and he could attempt it now.
Does he want to
you
attempt
guys?
it now? He didn't say anything.
I would be more than happy to. Let me spend some time with it.
All right, kinky boy, here you go.
Okay, I will focus my chi on it and make a few ohms and
his nose falls off.
hold aloft my emblem of the Undying Court and see if our mojo jibes.
To be inspired by a recent movie, I do like that attunement isn't necessarily an assured thing with certain items. So, with this, what I would like for you to do is make...
Okay.
I want you to make a roll for attunement. In this case, I think religion roll would be most appropriate.
Okay.
This is gonna be good.
Oh.
Oh, excellent lead. Well done.
That almost hit the 1 mark too. That was frightening.
So as you center yourself, fold in your chi, summoning it up, you get the feel of goodness emanating from the cup, and how to explain a good? It definitely feels divine. Not your, pardon the expression, cup of tea normally. A different brand. This you feel accepted with, and thus are able to attune to it. You're accepted as a good cleric of a good faith.
Hey.
But it's a briny broth, not a sweet tea.
Excellent.
You didn't, much like the inspired movie, you didn't go into another plane for that. This was more in person, and the vibes you got from the cup as you were attuning. But the acceptance does feel from elsewhere. The cup, and however religious people feel about religion and being touched by the divine.
I will probably need to find something, unless that's in there.
Probably not. I'll design up a cup for you later.
Oh,
I should have done it over the break, but I didn't think about it.
Well, you had 6 weeks, man.
No worries.
I know.
I'm kidding.
I was playing VR and other games. Okay. So
All right.
that being done, while you were doing that, both Den and Mordrin, the rest of the group, I'm assuming, was piling the camp into the wagons and hooking them up and getting ready to go.
Indubitably.
So you do so, and Phelan goes over to the rock where he hid his wagon inside the cliff face, says that draconic word again, and his powered land cart comes ghostly out of the stone, and everybody who wants to get into it, and or whoever is guiding wagons, can saddle up, as it were.
I'll guide the wagons. Animals love me.
Cool. So you're driving a wagon. Who else is driving a wagon? Because there's probably two, and you've got like, goodness, 14 some odd horses.
That's a lot.
Those poor bastards.
Let me check my animal handling. Oh no, I probably shouldn't drive the wagon.
Yeah, I
mean,
would be
I
like
can-
a drunk animal.
Yeah, none of the Warforged under my purview should be doing anything related to animals.
Come on, Johnny, you're an elf.
mean-
You're supposed to be one with nature.
Well, not with animal nature. I'm only
You got a
Plus
pet
one
pseudo
and a-
dragon. How could you not be, able to handle this?
He's more
yeah, he's a
a
fae,
plant
so,
elf.
Yeah, these horses.
I will make an attempt, but I will follow. I will not lead. Hopefully
They're
that will
creatures of
help.
the woodlands.
Phelan will take point with his cart. That will allow the other horse-drawn carts someone to follow.
Okay. Good.
And with that, you guys get on your way and travel out of the Rose Quarry.
Killian, you want to ride shotgun with me? No.
Did we lose Killian?
Killian.
He's
Sounds
busy
good.
jumping
Yeah.
into the saddle.
Shotgun.
Shotgun it is. Not knowing where you guys are, I can't remember where I did the starting point here. You're coming out of the wilderness. We're going to go right about here and on to the road to the ruin of Lirinton. Heading east is when you hit the main road. When you hit the main road, are you taking the horse and wagons with you or sending them off in another direction?
So is Larrington that city that's next on the map? Is that inhabited or is it destroyed?
It is ruined.
So nobody goes there,
Says-
right?
Phelan says it is just a waypoint where anybody could camp if they were heading into the Mournlands. We will go through there on our way to wherever we are going into the Mournlands.
All right. All right, then we'll just
So we
kind of
take
get off the cart and just, since we probably don't see anybody.
Yeah, it's not a well-traveled road. Not many people go to Lirinton. You can see there, Rukandral is the capital. It's the starred circle there, southwest of the fork in the road at the Gathering Stone.
Mm-hmm.
The Gathering Stone is a small crossroads village, says Phelan. If you send the horses that way, somebody will pick them up.
All right, so we'll just kind of get off the horses or off the carts and give them a little slap in the ass and just have them start walking down the road.
Okay, and off they go without, they basically seem to stick to the road as if that's what they're supposed to do.
Oh, we'll water and feed them before we send them that way, by the way.
Sure, you could have done that easily, especially when they were, what do you call it, picketed
Mm-hmm.
in the morning and before you geared them up.
Or even rigged a carrot in front of or an apple in front of their faces. They keep walking.
Right. Okay, let's see. With that, you head east along the road, and the Mournlands growing ever and ever closer.
Probably when we get, because we're back on his cart, when we get probably, I would say probably 20 minutes from it, we'll pull him off to the side and okay, I think we're sufficiently out of range and, I look, scan the skies for any out of place birds or anything that seem to be that could be watching or scrying.
Make a perception roll.
Alright. Sorry for being paranoid, my friends.
Ooh.
Alright, that's solid.
Let's see. Bear with me. I was down screen. Rolled an 18.
This is when we're sharing the map with him, right?
Before we do, yeah, I'm checking to make sure that wizard or necromancer had some serious power on him. Especially if he was raising a bunch of those zombies. That's not an easy task. So he could have other creatures that, are working as his dark minion. I look at Shiny.
Dark minion.
Inri ruffles his wings.
I smile.
Just minion, no darkness. He's part of the light.
Inri chirps back at you.
Don't you hate when people judge your pets?
I do.
No,
Bring
I think
Osric
Henry,
over here. I need to cuddle him.
I think Henry is perfectly fine. I'm more worried about you, my friend.
No,
You really grab for that slippery oil really fast. I mean, it's a little disconcerting.
Oh, I just wanted to practice my balance, and I figured that might be helpful as a training aid.
Evo, as you're checking out to see, as you've been worried about demonic and or strange pets, as you were leaving the Rose Quarry, there was a what do you call them? Those scavenger birds. A vulture.
Vultures?
Thank you. There was a vulture that was hovering over basically all the dead you just left in the quarry streets. As you left and went over the ridge.
Shit. I forgot about that. I probably wouldn't have let them all just rot in the sun. Damn it.
Yeah, you can retcon that if you would have taken the time to cut and dig your way through all sorts of glass-covered ground to get to a place where they could be buried, or you could have burned them.
Well, probably what I'd done was took one of the holes that they already made and then put all the bodies in there and then burned them in the hole.
Okay, you could have taken a couple of hours to do that. It doesn't change anything at this
And I
point.
would have wrote, left a note. Here are the remains of those who fought against the light, and so they lay burnt. And I put that there.
Okay. Thus then, the carrion bird that was hovering over that would not have been, but would have perhaps, and it did, seem to follow you out towards the road, staying
I
at
was
a
shot at that son of a bitch. Bang!
It's like almost at the horizon back there is this lazily gliding around in the distance.
I don't know.
Well, out
Longbow,
of
600 feet. I don't know how far is the Eldritch Blast. I think maybe 300 tops.
120, unless
it's
you've
120.
got a what do you call them? An evocation. No, what was it?
I didn't. No, I don't.
Invocation
I
that
don't.
doubles the range. It is well outside of even the longbow range. It is way back there.
I'm gonna say,
Just
I'll take one
gliding
shot
on
for
the
the hell of it.
thermals. Okay.
And oh wait, no, that was never mind. Yeah, just for fun. I'm like, I damn you, get away, you horrible bird, and I just frivolously fire an arrow as a warning.
It sails nowhere near the mark, but straight on towards where it would be.
And poor, Claw is like, go in the chest. He's like, message for you, sir. It has the Phoenix business card on it. It's like, oh shit, those bastards. Sorry.
Okay. So seeing that back there, and you shoot the arrow. Are you cluing failing in now or later?
Yeah. We did when we get a little bit farther out. I'll still. Even at that distance, vultures aren't known for their great sight. So
Which map are you showing him? The
The
really
good map.
fine
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. you know. I mean,
Damn.
Mordred, you did a nice job, but I mean,
The lettering is impeccable.
The lettering is impeccable, and if you add the lettering from your calligraphy to the cartography map, it makes a fine map.
right, but
There we go.
the stick figures on his original map is not,
Phelan takes the map and nods appreciatively at the work that's been done, and you point out where Whitehearth is, and much as on the map of Corvair, where it was marked there is coincidentally where it's marked on your map. It says, "Oh, that's not far. We
Hmm.
could make that good time. Perhaps even within the
Quite
day."
happy with the work that I've done then.
Yes.
I have a Warforge equivalent of a smile. And I helped.
So Evo, when nobody else is kind of looking around, pulls out another map that he's had for the last couple years, where he was trying to pinpoint the location of the skyship, which would be the vicinity where his parents and the last troop of the Phoenixes fell. Is this by chance anywhere near that?
It is not.
Okay.
Your mission that your family was on was near Eston up here, which would have been the capital, I believe, of Kyre. Unless I've got that wrong. It might have. It's a prominent city that you were headed to, but you were kind of out in the boondocks taking care of whatever the mission was, and you ran. When you left, you were able to make it, if you scroll in, to Aranthon Keep here as your first place that you came out of the Mournland as you crossed the river. Because technically the river does, border it right in that area. It's arbitrary, as there's no river between Vathelrond and the Barren Keep down here in the south. That is all territory, not water.
Right.
So you would have crossed probably just south of that. Maybe Vathelrond would have been your first stop, but yeah, you're at the south end, and your family was lost up there at the north end.
Okay. Well, this was a good test to see if how worthy Phelan will be in a possible next mission, or another mission in the future.
Activate this back up and hit this. And so the Titanic fog bank that extends like a cliff wall along the border of the Mournland is ginormous. You saw it as you were sailing up the river from the ocean. It was bordering that river as well. It churns the fog into ominous shapes, screaming faces, collapsing buildings, the outstretched hands, almost as if they're trying to grab towards you when you were on the boat, and now as you're approaching in the elemental land cart of Phelan's. Explosions and flashes within the gloom, but you don't hear any sound. Do you continue and enter the dead gray mists?
All right. So before we do, Phelan, what do we need to know when we go in together?
I have straps on the chairs that you can belt yourself to the seats so that it will be harder for you to be confused and leave the cart. As he puts a seat belt on himself and clasps it in, and it clicks with the button like on ours, but it's on the inside of the belt, so it's harder to get to. I would recommend using the belts. It is confusing in the fog.
And is
Disturbingly so.
the fog throughout the entire Morlands, or only for a certain portion till we get into
It is
the
a
Morlands
variable.
proper?
It's a variable thickness along all of the border of the Mornlands. And as I've heard from Sky Captains, covering it as well.
All right. Well, this sounds like it's going to be fun.
Does everybody
Okay.
melt in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, every once in a while, I will call off to sound that you're okay, and everyone will call their name. And we'll do this check every 30 minutes to an hour or so, based upon if time is distorted or not. So make sure you're not falling asleep, and know who your buddies you're sitting next to. And if anything is amiss, give a cry out, and make sure you answer when the call that you're okay is heard.
Well, me and Cole look at each other and kind of chuckle at the idea of sleeping.
Why am I sitting next to Osric?
Why is Osric cleaning my pant leg?
Okay. Entering the fog, the temperature drops, and each of you hear faint whispering, perhaps maybe even scratchy voices inside your heads. Evo, it's not unfamiliar.
Yeah,
to
this is
you.
a normal day for me, man. I mean,
You feel like you're being watched from all sides, but before you have time to rethink your decision, you're continuing in through the fog. And at this point, it is 11 o'clock my time, which is 10 your time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Excellent.
we will leave it here at the entering of the Mornland.
well,
Right.
excellent stopping point, and once again, I apologize for running this late tonight. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Run.
Were you done?
I'm
spazzed.
done. Yes. Yeah. This is the stopping point.
Yeah.
You can close it up, and we will commits after.
All right. Well, anybody else have anything they want to say before we close it down?
Well, this was a good little start to the new year.
Yeah,
Kind of
absolutely.
ease into it. It's like walking into the shallow end a little bit, getting used to the temperature of the water.
Nice.
Which is a little bit lower now that we're going into the Mornlands.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll all be able to pee in the pool, and nobody will see it. Nobody will be the wiser. So,
Look at all those faces from being in the pool.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why they're so unhappy looking in the picture. All right. Well, until next time,
Not the bar into the pool.
I hope all our 3 people who watched for a few moments and then all signed off a while ago, and all you Russian bots are gonna send for our music disruption, not playable in Russia. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Say good night, guys.
Good
Good night.
Good night, guys.